County Department of Planning and Zoning, Mr. Jenkins.
Good afternoon, board members and citizens of Mathews County. There's a written report in my packet. I will present on one item of that report. Last Wednesday, the Planning Commission held a public hearing regarding an amendment to the comprehensive plan to include a statement on utility-scale solar facilities. Commission and staff had spent much of 2020 doing background research on the impact of such facilities in the county, including environmental impact, land use impact, and economic impact. Staff developed 2 draft statements on such facilities, one supportive and another not supportive, and presented those at the public hearing. One speaker spoke during the hearing, suggesting that the facilities were not appropriate for Mathews County. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Commission voted 5-1 to recommend approval of the statement that is not supportive of utility-scale solar facilities, and I'll read it now. Mathews County faces numerous development constraints due to environmental factors, including poorly drained soils, floodplains, wetlands, and Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act buffer areas. To minimize the impact on the environment, solar facilities should not be located on any of the aforementioned areas. Furthermore, the prevalence of these areas across the county means that developable land is in short supply. Given the large area requirements of utility-scale solar facilities, these facilities should not be located in Mathews County so that developable land is preserved for residential, commercial, or agricultural uses as identified elsewhere in this plan. A public hearing for formal adoption of this statement into the comprehensive plan will be held later this year. As a final reminder, the comprehensive plan is a guidance document. The language in it is not binding law or regulation. Ultimate regulatory authority for approving or denying any specific application for an industrial scale solar facility rests with you, the Board of Supervisors. Next item is a budget amendment request for FY21. The Coast Guard Auxiliary is recommending that the county address one of the private aids to navigation in the hole in the wall that is not marking the best water. Number 4 is a fixed steel pole that was transferred from the Coast Guard to county ownership. Longshore drift from north to south has pushed a shoal past this marker further into the channel, resulting in the best water being located approximately 200 feet south and west of the existing fixed aid. A buoy is the best way to address this dynamic situation, and the cost of the entire rig is approximately $3,000 for one buoy, the solar light, and the anchoring hardware. There is a chance that this may not be needed in the event that the Virginia Port Authority approves funds for the dredging project at their meeting in late May. I believe that's the 25th. Nonetheless, we do want to be prepared to deploy this aid if needed. The buoy could also be used or repurposed for other uses if the dredging project renders it not necessary in that specific area. I recommend funds come from the committed reserves line for public access and waterways. Questions?
Any questions for Mr. Thomas? What's your pleasure on this?
Motion we approve the budget amendment as presented.
Motion been made to approve the budget amendment as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made second. Any discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Hutchins?
Aye.
Mr. Boyd?
Aye.
Ms. Ingram?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have for you, but I'll take any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, I got a question. Thomas, how's the lighthouse project coming?
Lighthouse project is coming well. I will go out later this week to make another pay app request review and also to do some labor compliance interviews. My understanding is that they're about to commence metal restoration of a lot of the rusted, corroded metal out there. Interior mortar is complete. Exterior mortar, there should be some good progress there. I'll know more at the end of this week.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but a comment. Welcome Mr. Rogers to the county team.
Yes, come by and meet Adam if you haven't had a chance yet. He's learning a lot quickly.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item is new business, adoption of the FY 2022 budget and proposed tax rates. You want to address this, Ms. Conlon?
This item's on your agenda to adopt the budget and the tax rates. This will allow us to move forward with real estate tax bills that both are due June 5th, and to move forward with the adoption of the budget.
Okay, this has been to the public hearing as legally required, and we need to adopt this budget.
As we've already discussed, there will be, we know there will be amendments with this budget due to additional federal dollars and other changes at the state level. But we need to go ahead and adopt the budget and the tax rates in order to keep the process moving forward.
Right, we got to adopt this budget so the treasurer can send out the tax bills.
Motion to approve the budget proposed and the tax rates as presented.
Motion be made to approve the budget and the proposed tax rate as presented. Is there a second? We need to get this out so we can get the tax bills out.
Does this budget include the 2.4 million that the sheriff needs we were talking about earlier?
Does it include what?
Doesn't it include the money that the sheriff was talking about, 2.4 million, then he said it's 2.4 million now? Does this, what we approved, this doesn't it include that budget item?
The budget includes an allowance for the lease purchase, but there's going to be, that's not going to be an immediate expense. So that entire amount for the public safety radio is not part of the budget. There's no reason for it to be.
Is that not a line item on the budget that was added?
There are funds allowed in the budget to cover expenditures related to the public safety radio project moving forward as of July 1st. The entire amount doesn't have to be included in the budget because we've got the lease purchase option so we can amortize the expense.
That's a question that a lot of people are probably trying to figure out, what are we doing here? Because in my opinion, if you've got this much money,
Turn your
being spent
microphone
now,
on. You need to turn your microphone on.
I've never been told I wasn't loud enough. My question is, if we have this much money, 2.4 million, that's coming out of the taxpayer's pocketbook. And we need to understand, are we having a loan that's APR? We're paying 2.4 million at 28% for 5 years, 10 years? The Board of Supervisors need to know this information. We're not trying to be disrespectful or not credit anybody. But if we're spending that much of the taxpayers' money, we need to know all about it, because people are asking us every day when they see us on the street, what's going on? What is it with the budget? What is going on here? And we need to have the information. We need to have a workshop to make sure that we understand why we're spending this money, or else y'all need to get your pocketbook out, because your real estate taxes will probably have to go up. So it's more to this than just trying to be difficult and not do something.
I don't know where you got the 2.4 million from.
It's not 2.4 million. And this was discussed in the budget workshops and with the preparation of the budget.
Didn't you say a while ago 2.4 million?
No, ma'am.
When he said 2.2?
I did not say 2.4
Okay.
million.
The radio system is designed at $1 million and
$1,415,410.
$415,000. That's the whole
And
system.
as a board member, I'd like to be able to tell people what's going on.
And the board was copied on all the documents, the lease purchase documents. We cannot move forward with the actual documents unless you authorize us to. But you've been copied on all of that information.
I know I've got the copies, but I mean, it's like, That's a lot of money, and we don't really have all the answers, and I don't know about the rest of them, I'm speaking for myself. I feel like I wanna be accountable to the citizens, and I wanna be able to answer their questions. And when people repeatedly are calling you from all over the county and asking you about this thing that we need for the sheriff's office, the public radio system,
It's already been put before you what it's gonna cost.
We don't know an exact figure, we haven't gone into any detail with this lease agreement.
That's why we have an attorney and a county administrator, they were gonna do this and execute this.
Yeah,
Don't you think you can do it better?
I didn't say I'd do it better, no, I'm just saying as a board member, I would like to review this stuff, reviewing it.
Paul, you provided all the documents last month, there are no other documents to provide at this time.
All documents that have been got on this have been provided to each board member.
Yep, and we haven't had no discussion as a whole board, that's my whole point.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the FY 2022 budget and proposed tax rates. Is there a second? If you don't second this and get this on the table, tax bills will not go up, so. Motion been made. Is there a second? Third time, is there a second? Okay, the motion dies.
Will the board consider adopting the tax rates as a separate motion from the budget? Because this is gonna create
Sure, that's fine, if you want to do it that, we can do it that way.
conduct business.
Sure, we can do it separately.
I think that's a good alternative. But we do have a statutory requirement to adopt a budget. This is a balanced budget, and it accommodates these projects, the public safety radio and the broadband match. So those are the two, priorities that the board communicated.
Isn't it that we appropriate at a later date?
The appropriations come later and amendments come later. You're not approving a specific project, you're just approving the budget. But maybe if you can handle it as two separate motions, the budget and the tax rates, that might be a little cleaner.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the proposed tax rates.
Second,
I don't have a motion. Do you want to make the motion?
make a motion, we approve the tax rates as written.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion made second. Any discussion? Call for the vote. Ms. Ingram.
Aye.
Mr. Boyd.
Aye.
Mr. Hudgens.
Aye.
I vote aye, 4-0. On the proposed budget, the adoption of the budget, the appropriations come later, Mr. Hudgens. We'll have plenty of time to discuss all those items you're talking about, but we need to approve the budget. It's a starting point.
Nay for me at this time.
Is there a motion to approve the budget?
So moved.
Okay, Ms. Ingram, you made the motion to approve the budget. Is there a second?
I made the motion. He's asking for a second.
I thought it was Ms. Ingram made the motion. It wasn't, it was Mr. Boyd. Mr. Boyd made the motion, excuse me, Ms. Ingram. Is there a second? Motion died. Supervisor report. The May meeting, you want to have that at 4 o'clock. Would that be all right with the board members because of schools in session?
I don't think 4 o'clock's a good time for the citizens. Anybody wants to come, they're at work, 4 o'clock,
What time do you want to have it, Mr. Hudson?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, we will now have our attorney present if we have it at 6 o'clock. Do you understand that?
Well, it seems we gotta keep conducting these meetings around people's time. 6 o'clock is when we always have meet at 6. So everybody knows you gotta be there at 6, so 6 o'clock.
What's your preference, Mr. White?
Do we have a location that we can do it safely? I don't know that we do.
Here.
Is there a conflict for there?
It's here, it's where it's gonna be, it's a question of the time.
I think we were considering 4 because of a conflict, is that not true?
We were considering 4 o'clock because Mr. Rod has a conflict, and starting in June, we can move him to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, as a one-time, I don't think it's a problem
Ms.
to do
Ingram,
it at 4. I'd rather have our legal representatives in here.
what's your preference, Ms. Ingram?
I would prefer it to be 6 o'clock so that the citizens could come to it.
Would 6 o'clock on Monday night before be convenient?
Sure, that's fine.
And what's that date?
May the 24th.
So we have a possibility of being on May 24th at 6 o'clock. That is a Monday, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to that effect?
Make a motion. We approve May 24, 6 p.m. for a supervisor meeting.
Date, May 24th, 6 p.m. Is there a second?
Second it.
Motion made second.
And that's here at the high school, yes?
Yes, right here. I am one auditorium. Call for the vote. Ms. Ingram.
Aye.
Mr. Hudgens.
Aye.
Mr. Boyd.
Aye.
And I vote no. 3-1. I want to bring up the thing about processing fees we charge for people paying their taxes and things. And nowadays with all the credit cards, debit cards, and everything else, I think that's something that we'd like for the treasurer and the county administrator to look into so that people don't have to pay an extra fee for using the debit card or credit card. Anywhere else we buy anything or make any purchases, we don't have to pay an extra fee. And we're working it into the building department now, so there's no fee. So I think we should look at that countywide so people can pay ahead of time, online, however they want. I think it will save a lot of money and office time instead of people coming in and paying. How does the other board members feel?
They've already got a credit card processing system in the treasurer's office now, correct?
Yes, but they charge a fee for using it.
Yeah, correct.
And I don't think we should be charging fees for to be able to pay with the credit card or debit card.
How do you suggest we, pay for those fees? You trying to eliminate them altogether? Is that what we're trying to do?
I want to eliminate the fees when you go to purchase anything else, whether it's gasoline or anything else, you don't pay an extra fee for using the card. And I don't think when you pay your taxes, you should be charged an extra fee also.
I think, at least in business, I think that the businesses have to pay a bit of a fee.
I understand.
I don't know what that, if we're charging
That's what I'm
exactly what we
saying.
get charged. then-
What I'm saying is I want the treasurer and county administrator to explore the options and to see what it would cost us and what it would take. Would it save staff time in the office? Would it be worth it?
Where's the investigation?
Won't that fall back on the taxpayers footing that bill?
That's what we want to explore, Mr. Hutchins.
But these companies charge a fee, so if we're gonna try to eliminate it, how are we gonna negotiate, get rid of the fee altogether?
That's what I want to find out from the treasurer. How can we do this and how can we make it work?
I support checking into it.
You said what, Mr. Boyd?
I support
Okay.
checking into it.
Okay, we'll get them to investigate it. Okay, Supervisor DeVoy, your report.
Okay, yes, I do. The first is historic court green recognition. I'd like to take this time to invite Miss Betty Dillahey
to come forward. You all know Ms. Dillahay for her work at the Library and Main Street Committee. Today, I'd like to highlight and thank her, the Main Street Committee, and the following people: Dennis Baker, Tim Hudgens, David and Ann Norris, Bobby Hatton, Sandy and Ann Wilson,